Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good evening and welcome to Fade to Black Cinema. I'm Michael, your Bougie Black Brother, and today I'm alone with my movie review, and I've been sitting around doing a whole lot of catching up on my Netflix movies, and I decided to grab like a couple of unique type ones. And the one that kept coming up in my queue that I was reading some reviews on is a movie called Cam, C-A-M. And I'll tell you straight up, it's about a cam girl, or one of the girls that's on a little camcorder or on the internet that you pay money to see them do the strangest things, and you're just online, kind of online porn. That wasn't the interesting part that I wanted to see. What this movie is about, and I'll just quickly go to the synopsis, is Alice, an ambitious cam girl, wakes up one day to discover she's being replaced on her show with an exact replica of herself. All right. So it's kind of like, oh, here's a sexual undertones or overtones, and the undertones are identity theft, right? So it was just kind of strange. And if you read a couple of articles, they're talking about something like Black Mirror. And if you see a lot of the Black Mirrors, they're using tech and the dangers of tech and how it can go too far, or how it's just totally outrageous and can ruin your life or give you a different perspective. So this one was interesting, and I'm going to tell you what makes it a lot more interesting as well is the director as well as the writer. The writer was actually a cam girl, so she was in the industry, and the director was her cameraman. So they had a relationship, and as she was being a cam girl, and then it got intimate, and then before things really got out of hand, they decided to write a story. And when they made this story, it came up to be almost as a horror. Now, I didn't get the details to see if her identity was stolen, but it gives you the concept of your identity can be stolen whether you work in Walmart, in a big business, Wall Street, or online as a cam girl. And what this showed and it led you to at the beginning was the relationships that she had, the online relationship with these men, the competition with the other cam girls trying to be number one. And what happened was all throughout this, they were fighting to be number one, and it was grabbing to be who's going to be better, who's not going to be better, who are the people, what is the things that they can do. There's an excerpt that someone says, take the knife and cut yourself, or put it in your pussy, and crazy stuff like that. And it made the guys who watches her to actually keep putting money in to see her do things. And so she slits her throat, and everybody like, oh my God, what the hell going on? Whoa. And then she's like, oh, I got you. I'll see you next week. And you're looking forward to see what outrageous things that these women would do. And there's a company that they work for, and it's all a professional system. But what happens is, and it's so funny because it relates to a lot of things, is as you get higher within the actual the cam girls, when you get higher, you seem to, no one sees them anymore. And what happens is these bots become virtual women of the same person, and they take over the identity of these cam girls. And there's these virtual women that looks like they're doing the same thing that the woman used to do, but it's like almost a replay, but it's being shown live. So you never see these women. And then once you see someone else, you kind of like, what happened? She was at the top, but we don't see her no more. Why we don't see her no more? But it seems as though these bots take over the top tier women in order to bring in the money, but we never find out who's controlling these bots. but it goes through a whole process of this woman's life that she was depending on being a cam girl, that she needed to have this, but they totally took her password, they took her identity. They was going around. She was showing up in like stores and libraries. People haven't really seen her, but it was showing like she was there. But yet she's seeing herself and is like, let me get down to where she is. But that bot never showed up. But so this identity theft was virtual, but it took over a person or a woman who was doing it. And it's twisted in so many ways. And, their intent was to dehumanize or humanize these women in this field. These are true women that's actually doing things. They're trying to make a living. They're not sleeping with anyone. They're not doing anything outrageous. They're just putting on a show. And I think the director is Daniel Goldhaber, and the screenplay writer was the woman who wrote it is Issa Mazzei, Mazzei. And I just, as I was watching it, on one note, you thought you was going to see something like highly sexualized, but then on the other hand, you thought you was going to see a really suspenseful horror type deal. And it was cool because it was a combination of them both. There's some people reviewed that just said this woman was just really stupid. That's what she gets for being in this industry. But again, this can happen to anyone. And she just happened to pick this actual field of work that people ignore because it's something that's taboo. Sex is always taboo to so many people that they don't word it in one way and don't word it another way. The sex industry is a $1 billion industry. So no matter what, you're going to see it, you're going to be exposed to it, or you may know someone who's exposed to it. People know strippers every day. Strippers work here and then at night they go strip. So you never know who you're dealing with who's in this sex industry. But this interesting concept of identity theft, then on top of that, online bots, these bots are dealing with elections. These bots are on Facebook. These bots are on Instagram and Twitter. And you think you're dealing with people, but you actually dealing with these bots. And for her to come up with this concept and for them to create this all together I just thought was a very, very interesting and an amazing concept. Now, it kind of dragged. It did look independent like. So you got to understand, Blumhouse always does things, and they pick out really, really unique stories. And so I try to follow what they're going to release, because they don't just say, let me just make another horror movie. Let's make another suspense movie. They look at the most unique type of stories. And when they come out, they're worth it. They're actually worth seeing. And I really enjoyed this one. High on my list for recommendations for people with an open mind to say, what do you want to see? If you want to see the what happens with identity theft outside of the norm, this is perfect. If you want to see how bots are part of our life now, this is kind of perfect to see too, because you're seeing a virtual person, even though that person's still alive, or that person is doing something totally different. So this is all very, very interesting. Some people will be uncomfortable with the sexual scenes, which aren't really graphic or really not even seductive in a way, but there's people, guys, women, who sit there on a camcorder, put their credit card in, and just charge just to see these women do the things that they want them to do. And they show the different aspect, the races, and just the different things that they wanted to see. So really, really interesting movie. And it's on Netflix, and it's one of the Netflix movie as opposed to buying it from someone else. So it'll be there forever, so you'll be able to check it out. So it's Cam, the movie Cam. from Daniel Goldhaber, and the screenplay written by Issa Mazizi, or whichever. I spelled it already. But thanks for stopping by Fade to Black Cinema. Catch us on every podcast download, from iTunes to whatever. BougieBlackBrother.com, Bougie Black Brother Network on YouTube, and Bougie Black Brother on all podcast downloads. So you can get them either one, but they'll be lined up together on Bougie Black Brothers. So you may get a wine in between there or a 2 Chainz review. So check it out from there. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on Fade to Black Cinema. Peace.